ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, August 15th, and your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to get this thing started with our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. We do that at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Hope everyone's having a great Friday so far. Of course, I hope a lot of you are in the car right now. You're heading over to 9th Street Live because tonight's the Herd Rally. That means everybody's going to be there. All the coaches, all the players, everybody's going to be there. So that's happening tonight, 9th Street Live. Madhouse will be performing, so it should be a fun time. This has become really a great community event, not only 9th Street Live, which, honestly, what a great way to start your Friday. But then, I know I'm pushing the company line, but I'm sincere here. You got the Herd Rally, and that's going to be fun. So that's a pretty big event. So if you're not on your way already, start making your way now down to 9th Street Live for tonight's Thundering Herd Rally. But we've got our text line open, so I want to hear from you. And we're going to catch up on a couple of texts in a few minutes at 304-396-TALK. 304-396-8255. You know, we podcast the show as well, so we got a couple of texts from people who have been listening to the podcast this week. So don't be afraid. If you listen to the show on the podcast, you can text the show. I'll get to it the day after you send the text in, so just keep that in mind. You know, don't be afraid. Also, we've got you covered on X. You can find me at Paul Swann there, and I'll respond to all your questions and your comments as I can get to them. So I'm looking forward to it. And, of course, that means one other thing. We're getting that much closer to the start of Marshall football season. I know the week of welcome has been going on. Yesterday they were showing We Are Marshall over on the big screen. It has more impact, doesn't it, when it's on the bigger screen now? I know for years they would show it on the Marshall M scoreboard. And at the time, okay, that was cool. You know, it's a scoreboard shaped in the Marshall M, but it really didn't have that much scoreboard space to it. Really not that much length, width, height. It was okay. I mean, honestly, I still miss the Light Bright. That was the original scoreboard, but that's just nostalgia talking. The new scoreboard, much better. The one thing, though, I'm still disappointed that new scoreboard is not bigger. That's my one disappointment with it. It's just not bigger, but still pretty big as it is. And, of course, showing the students We Are Marshall, I think that should be shown every year, obviously. It's a great Marshall feel-good movie at the end of the day. Something, though, that I have still kind of pushed, and I might be on an island on this one. And I don't let me know what you feel, because I'd really like to think that I'm not alone in this. I think it should be mandatory viewing Ashes to Glory, the Deb Novak documentary. I think that should be some sort of mandatory viewing for incoming freshmen. Hey, here, if you're going to push it, if you're going to push the story, say, hey, you know, this is part of the fabric of Marshall University. And here's the movie, We Are Marshall, and that plays continuously, I still believe, over at the Student Center. It's always on. Every time I'm over there, it's on. And for what that movie is, and it does, it introduces people to the Marshall story. Of course, there are composite characters. You know, it's not a true story in the sense, you know, you saw the original opening. Hey, this is a true story. Well, it's based on a true story. You know, there's some creative license going on. But I think what needs to really happen is you got to work somehow into the program the documentary, Ashes to Glory. That, to my fandom, really hit home. Yeah, when that came out, of course, I was a lot younger when it came out, and I've always felt that was a great representation, because it was, hey, we got to get these people and talk to them now, because they're not going to be here one day. We got to talk to these people now. We got to get their story. We got to find out, what happened in those moments. And I know that the movie really brings, it brings that Hollywood polish to the Marshall story, and I completely get it. But I always felt like you got to incorporate some more of the, I don't want to call it factual, but I think that's where I'm going. You want to incorporate some of the, here's the closer to real story. This is the dramatization. This is the Hollywood version of the Marshall story. And here's the documentary. And this is the story as close as we can get it to being the actual story of Marshall during that period of time. Of course, the movie, it's always going to get probably the higher play because it's the Hollywood movie. It's the We Are Marshall movie. I've always felt though that I would like to see a little bit more. Hey, here's what really transpired in the sequence of events. Here are the on the ground stories. And I don't think that I'm asking too much. Try to find a way to maybe work that into the program if you can. But it doesn't have the same feel to it. Hey, we're going to go over the football stadium and we're going to watch the documentary Ashes to Glory. Instead, it's, hey, we're going to the football stadium. It's the week of welcome. We're freshmen, and we're going to show them We Are Marshall. So we'll show them We Are Marshall on the big scoreboard, and that has a little bit more of a flair to it. It's still cool that they do that, though. All right, let's get our text in, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. I didn't know if we would get on the air today. We had Pirates baseball, the Pirates beating the Cubs not that long ago. And so here we are. We got the full show. So I appreciate the Cubs for losing, and I appreciate the Pirates for taking care of them quickly. Now we turn our attention to the weekend. And I've got an interesting story when we continue. If you are a fan of the Tri-State Coldcats, a few days ago, the release came out that named the All-Appalachian League team. And on the list is Sal Mineo, probably the best player on Tri-State this year. And he was an outfielder for the Coldcats. He was 33 for 85, had a home run, 8 doubles, 3 triples, 9 RBI, 23 runs scored, 16 walks, went 15 for 18 in stolen base attempts. He was also third in the league, tied for third in the league with triples. And so we're going to talk to Sal when we continue. He's all Appalachian League. That's a pretty big honor to be on the All-Appalachian League team. And that's the point of this league. It's to get these players more playing time, more exposure, more opportunities. They can work on their game, improve their game. And, of course, if you make any all-team, that's saying something for what you did. So we're going to talk to Sal when we continue. And we'll get your text in, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255 on today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Hey, Cecilia, back to school time. Clark's Pump and Shop has some great deals on lunchbox specials for the kids.
They've got assorted Twizzlers and Jolly Rancher peg bags, 2 for $5, and assorted combos, 2 for $5.
Plus M&M, Snickers, Milky Way, and Twix share size candy bars, 2 for $4.50.
It's hard to believe it's already back to school time.
Yeah, just make sure you don't get caught by the teacher eating those snacks in class.
At least I don't spend all my days in the principal's office.
They like me there. Get the rest of this month's specials in the Clark's Pump and Shop app from your app store. You can return, refresh, and refuel where?
At Clark's Pump and Shop.
It may be goodbye summer in Huntington, but it's hello deals here at University Ford. Broncos up to $8,000 off or finance at 0%. Escapes up to $6,000 off or just $292 a month. Explorers now up to $5,500 off. Plus 0% financing and up to 125% of KBB for your trade. New ownership, improved process, better deals. Better deals. Visit us at University Ford in Huntington or online at universityfordwv.com. See deal for complete details on all offers.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude,
How's the temperature?
it's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue with today's edition of The Drive. Our text line back open in a few minutes at 304-396-TALK. That is 304-396-8255. Brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Well, we're all sad that baseball season is getting close to the end. And, of course, Tri-State wrapping up its season not that long ago. So hopefully next year it'll be another couple of fun months of baseball. But one of the bright spots for Tri-State this year was the play of Sal Mineo. Of course, Sal, outstanding outfielder, named to the All-Appalachian League team. He's the lone representative from Tri-State, and he joins us now on the program. Sal, congratulations. That's a big deal to make any All-League team or All-Appalachian League team. That's a pretty big deal.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
What did you think of your time in Huntington with Tri-State? What stood out to you the most?
I honestly didn't know what I was getting myself into when, I heard my team assignment and I saw I was going down to Huntington. But Huntington was awesome. The facilities, the baseball field, everything there was top notch as far as what you can get out of a summer league. Marshall University is a great spot to play some baseball, and I was able to learn a lot from the coaches, Tommy Gregg, Roger Hill, Justin Gomez, Solomon Torres. They did a great job coaching us up and helping us, guide us through the summer, and had a lot of fun this summer.
How would you describe the level of competition for the summer? You played against a lot of different college players from across the country in the region as well. I'm sure you knew some of them. How would you describe the level of play you get when you sign up for an Appalachian League summer baseball tour?
Yeah, it's great competition. I would say a majority of the league comes from Division I schools. It's a majority of the players are younger, freshmen and sophomore in college, a couple high school kids here and there. But it's super competitive. The pitching is good. The hitting is great. In my opinion, the hitting is better than the pitching. It's more of a hitter-friendly league, it seems like. But there's a lot of great players in the league, and I think it's, in terms of summer leagues, it's one of the best leagues you can play in across the country.
How much did you know about the Appalachian League before you really got involved? Or is that something you were always aware of, or did someone have to maybe clue you in on, hey, this is a great opportunity? Yeah, I wasn't I've definitely heard of it over the past couple of years. I didn't have I wasn't I need to go play in the Appalachian League, but my coaches at school at Ohio State kind of helped me, set me up, and they explained the opportunity to me, and I was all in on it once I heard what it was about. And honestly, the Appalachian League is a great league. They treat you so well with the travel, the hotels they put you in, the food, everything they get you is top notch compared to some of the other leagues that are out there. Our guest is Tri-State Coldcats outfielder Sal Mineo. Of course, Ohio State is where you will continue your college career. What would you say What would you say to anyone, when you go back, they ask you about this league? I mean, wouldn't it be great if you could maybe talk 3 or 4 of your teammates to maybe come back or come to Huntington or get in the Appalachian League? Do you see that college players are maybe not taking as much advantage of opportunities like this, or is that starting to maybe? You got to be careful, right? I mean, you want to put yourself in a position where you're successful and not injure yourself, overdo it. But what would you say when you get back with your teammates about something like this?
Yeah, one of my teammates at Ohio State, Tyler Petterini, he recently signed with the Phillies. But I sat down with him one day and we were talking in between reps in the cage, and he's like, "Man, you got to play as a hitter. You got to play every summer." He's like, "You need to get as many swings as you can in your 4 years in college, because obviously the more swings, the more reps you get, the better." So I think summer ball is a great opportunity for any college player. And even if you're a high school kid going into the next level, I think if you can get 100 at-bats in the summer, that is one of the best opportunities you can do to better yourself and to help your future.
And, of course, you're getting great instruction as well. It's probably the only place where you're allowed to fail because it's an instructional league as well. Is there a pressure there? I know you want to win, but is this more relaxed? You go into a situation where, okay, I can fail because they're here to make me better.
Yeah, the difference between, Big Ten college baseball and the Appalachian League is night and day in terms of what's going to happen if you don't perform, what's going to happen if you perform. It is such a great opportunity because you can fail and you get to show up the next day and play 9 innings. You play 6 days a week. It's short-term memory all summer. You just go out and you play and you perform for that day and you wipe it and you go to the next day. And I think for a lot of people, being in that position where they're going to get their at-bats, no matter how they perform, it's really beneficial for a player's development to have that kind of mindset over the summer.
Now let's talk a little bit about your stats. Speaking of just how well you performed, you were 33 of 85. You had a homer, 8 doubles, 3 triples, 9 RBI, 23 runs scored. You had 16 walks, and you went 15 for 18 in stolen base attempts. You were tied for 3rd in the league with triples. There was even a moment where you were 5 for 5, and you had 2 doubles, a walk, 2 runs, and 3 stolen bases back on June 19th. What stands out to you about that game and that performance?
Yeah, that was in Burlington. I remember we had a bunch of rain delays before that game, and we had a late start. Burlington actually had a lot of fans there. It was a big game. I think it was firework night, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it was a great night. I saw the ball really well. I think I swung at the first pitch in 3 of my 6 at bats that night. My 6th at bat being a walk that night on the 5 for 5. But I was just seeing the ball well, and I hit a lot of fastballs that night. Just missed a home run that night to center field. But yeah, like every once in a while you have those days where the baseball just looks bigger. It almost looks like a beach ball, and those days are fun, obviously. But yeah, to go 5 for 5 is a great accomplishment. It's a good night. And like I said, you get to wake up and just build off that the next day and keep going from there.
How better do you feel about where you're at now developmentally compared to maybe where you were a few months ago?
Yeah, I feel a lot better. I feel like this summer has completely changed the course of my career in terms of where I can go maybe in the future and how things are going to shape out for me over the next couple of years. It's a night and day difference. And if you look back, because I did get 70 at bats this spring, some people get 70 at bats and they don't want to play in the summer. I'm so happy I took this opportunity and just kind of went there and put in the time, because it has definitely changed everything in the course of my development and my career.
And the experience, it's hard to replicate. I know you play Big Ten ball, so you're at some pretty impressive places. It's Big Ten baseball. It's that way for a reason. How would you describe just that? You've got sort of that college baseball feel, of course, with Marshall being a college ballpark. Then you go across the Appalachian League, and some places are different than others, have a different feel. how would you describe that experience, just going to different places across the Appalachian League? Every venue was different, and you might not get that kind of feel playing baseball in the Big Ten.
Yeah, the venues, the Appalachian League has some very cool venues. One of my favorite places to play was definitely Burlington, because they had a really good crowd, really good fan base. You'd actually be very surprised at some of the fan bases, even our fan base at home. Like, the summer ball does really well, and it's a completely different feel, like you said, from college baseball. A lot more like getting the fans involved, fireworks, all types of special nights. We had a Taylor Swift night at one point. Just a bunch of cool experiences that add on to getting to play baseball, because everyone in that league, that's what they love to do, is play baseball. But there's so many fun experiences and cool opportunities that you get to have throughout the summer.
Taylor Swift aside, you have maybe a moment or two, a fun night that you enjoyed the most, or just an opportunity that you got that really going to stick with you?
Yeah, I thought our game on July 5th, it was our firework. It was basically our 4th of July night. We had it on July 5th on a Saturday, and I think we played Kingsport, who ended up being one of the top teams in the league, and we walked them off in the 10th inning. And that experience, I think it was a walk-off hit by pitch, and I was the game-winning run. It was a really cool experience. We had a lot of fans there, and then, of course, the fireworks after the game. That was probably my favorite night of the summer.
You don't get that in college ball mostly. You don't get a chance to sit in the outfield and just sit back and watch the fireworks.
No, it's awesome. And like you said, you don't get that basically at all in college. And yeah, it's a really cool. I probably saw 4 or 5 fireworks nights this summer, which was awesome. Just to play a game, play your heart out, play as hard as you can, and then get to sit back on the grass and watch the fireworks. Awesome.
Our guest is Sal Mineo. He is one of the all-Appalachian team members, played outfield for Tri-State. With Tri-State being so close to Ohio State, were you able to have some family, friends be able to come maybe catch a game or two to support you?
Yeah. I had my family was able to catch a lot of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday games at home. Like, every time we played at home on the weekends, they were able to come down and watch, which was great. I'm from Pittsburgh, so it's like a 5-hour drive, which is very doable, and it's very nice to get to see them throughout the summer, even more so than when I played in the Big Ten, because of the travel schedule is a little bit rigorous, a little bit harder to get people to your games. But yeah, there's people I saw all throughout the summer who were traveling or making their way through Huntington and were able to come see me play, which is great.
What that really mean to you? Just you go off to summer league, and of course it's another assignment, the grand scheme of things, but at the same time, it's summer baseball, so it's truly fun. So, you have like an extra step that day. Oh, hey, my family's going to be here. I mean, your mom, dad, who primarily were making the trip?
Usually, my dad. My dad came probably 4 or 5 times throughout the summer, and to get to see him was always nice. We always went out to dinner 2 or 3 times while he was there, and yeah, to get to spend that time with him during the summer while I'm playing, because it is a very rigorous schedule, six games a week. To be able to spend that time with him was always nice, and to just kind of relax and spend time with my family is awesome.
See the reason why you're into baseball, or what's your story? How did you decide? Why did you decide? Hey, I want to be a baseball player.
Yeah, my dad actually didn't even play baseball growing up, but he put us into baseball, from the moment we could walk. My older brother, Ricky Mineo, he played at Slippery Rock University. He played 4 seasons there, and he signed as an undrafted free agent with the Minnesota Twins. So kind of getting to see his career take off while I was just getting started into high school really made me, want to push and get to the next level and ultimately play professional baseball like he got to. So yeah, it was a little mix of both, with my parents pushing me into it, and obviously from a young age I really enjoyed it, and then also getting to see my older brother as well as my younger brother who also plays baseball. So we're just a big baseball family.
Favorite team? You're from Pittsburgh, so I'm presuming Pirates, right?
Yes, sir. The Pittsburgh Pirates.
You watched that finish? The Cubs made it interesting for a while, but the Pirates got the win not that long ago. You get a chance to watch any of that?
Yeah, the last game I went to was against they played the San Francisco Giants at home, and they walked it off on a fielder's choice play at the plate. Jack Sawinski slid in for the game winner. That was probably 2 weeks ago, but I make it to a couple games every year. I'm obviously busy with my own baseball, but I do enjoy getting to see them play.
Our guest is Tri-State outfielder Sal Mineo, continuing his career at Ohio State. Anything you want to say, or anything that maybe comes to mind as you think about your time in Huntington, Tri-State, around the community? Anything you want to say to anyone that maybe meant something to you here?
Yeah, I would definitely just like to thank everyone. Christian Palmer, the general manager, he did a great job with everything. Brian Booth, our athletic trainer, as well as the coaching staff, Tommy Gregg, Justin Gomez, Roger Hill, Solomon Torres. They were great for us, and I learned a lot from each of them, just how to play the game the right way. A lot of those guys are former big leaguers, or I think all of them actually have professional baseball experience, which is really cool to have them to learn from. And they're all contacts in my phone that I can reach out to them with any questions throughout the process. And I think that's great. So, yeah, just thank you to everyone that was involved with the summer. And, yeah, everyone that was able to make this happen this summer. I really appreciate it.
Speaking of Christian, I know he's listening. He's got to be listening. So I know he's listening right now. How hard did that guy work all season long? I mean, he works here at the radio station, but I never saw him. I know where he was at. How hard was that guy? Just or just couldn't stand the guy, right? I mean, great general managers couldn't stand the guy.
Right.
That's not the case.
Well, Christian is also a big Pittsburgh sports fan, so I'd always catch up with him every once in a while about Pittsburgh sports. But yeah, like you said, he worked for us every day. He was always in the locker room with the guys talking, and he was obviously there every game supporting us, and he did a great job, and I really respect everything he did for us. I'm sure he did a lot of the behind the scenes stuff as well that we never even got to see, setting up travel and all that, but he did a great job, and definitely no complaints there. He did a great job as general manager.
You're probably his favorite because you're a Pittsburgh guy. I'm just going to say that out loud because being a Pittsburgh guy, you guys stick together a lot.
Yeah.
Sal,
Definitely.
Sal, it's been good to talk to you. Congratulations again. Making the All Appalachian League team is fantastic for your career. You had a tremendous run in Huntington with Tri-State, and we wish you nothing but success. And hopefully, we're going to see more of you in the future.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is Sal Mineo, outfielder for Tri-State. Did a fantastic job this year for the Colecats. And, of course, quick shout-out to our guy, Christian Palmer. Appreciate him setting that up for us. Did a tremendous job this year as the general manager of the Colecats. We're going to get our break in, and we will take your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. More coming up on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Looking for the ideal office space? Well, the Kindred Capital Building may be your solution. From a one-person office to a large staff at the Kindred Capital Office Building, it could be the perfect fit for you. With off-street parking and all utilities included, the Kindred Capital Building is perfectly located near the courthouse in downtown Huntington at 555 Fifth Avenue. If you're an attorney, medical, or professional services provider, a perfect location. Call 523-8401 and a representative will match you to the area's premier office space. Your office space is just a phone call away.
Are you looking to grow your business? Start with KFB, the Better Bank. From easy, flexible business checking accounts to finding the right loan to fuel your next big move, KFB is here for you every step of the way. Whether you're just starting out or expanding fast, we've got the tools, support, and local expertise to help your business thrive. KFB, the Better Bank, in Ashland, Summit, Catlettsburg, Louisa, and Wheelersburg. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm Elise Smith, First Lady of Marshall University and founder of the Women Warrior Summit. As a woman of Appalachia, you know how much strength it takes to shift direction, especially when you're carving a new path forward. Maybe you've been thinking about changing careers, going back to school, or even refocusing your energy on something you once loved. I am so proud to announce that the Women Warrior Summit is back for its third year, where we'll be focusing on the power of pivoting and how to approach life's turning points with clarity, courage, and intention. We'll hear from journalist, author, and entertainer Hoda Kotb, explore Jenny Blake's coveted pivot method, and even talk about how AI can support our next steps, whatever they may be. Join us Friday, October 24th at the Marshall Health Network Arena. Visit womenwarriorsummit.com to learn more. I hope to see you there.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle. Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue on with this Friday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Our text line brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. It's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We podcast as well, and that's where we begin with our text. First up, texter says, Paul, I'm just getting caught up on this week's show on the podcast. Thanks for always putting them up, and I appreciate you listening. Few things, the texter says. There does need to be some sort of scoreboard over the shoey, and I always love the M, even though you don't. Yeah, well, I want bigger. I want a bigger scoreboard. That's what I want. Texter says in the rest of the text, one game series with WVU is fine, but I'd ask for a return game or a 2-for-1 with a huge buyout if they decide not to come to Huntington. There are cheap tickets on StubHub for the Georgia game. Everyone that can get them and go. I hope the band is also going. When can you get the new athletic director on? I'll answer that right now. Lastly, I'll answer that after. Texture says, lastly, for the first of many times this year, No Country Roads by the Marching Thunder. Okay, let me break that down. Today is Gerald Harrison's final day at Austin Peay. So that means starting Monday, I can bother Marshall University's communications department until they acquiesce and get me a date with him. So that's going to happen. We'll get him on as soon as we can. I promise. As far as the Georgia game, yes, if you're looking to go and if you're wanting to get tickets and Marshall is sold out and you can't get through Marshall, yes, grab them on StubHub, because a lot of people will get their season tickets for Georgia and then they will put them on StubHub or put them out there to pay for the rest of their tickets. And so the Marshall game might not be as exciting for them. That's fine. That just means more of the Thundering Herd fans get an opportunity to go see the Thundering Herd play. So I like that. Okay. Let's see. What else? I'm going to unpack this text again. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. As far as a series with WVU, I like the one game. Sure, play it. You know what? Let's not put this in a situation where, you're trying to one-up each other. The honest fact here is that I think you can make a series work. It doesn't have to be every year. It can be a one-off, one-on, one-off. West Virginia will travel to smaller venues. That is a known fact, so don't give me any of that. I think, honestly, the end of the day, Mountaineer fans are going to tell you, we don't want to play this game, but yet they'll talk about Marshall all the time. Also, the administration probably is not going to say this out loud. I'm going to say this part out loud. The game doesn't benefit WVU because if WVU wins, it's going to say, well, we were supposed to win. Okay, so this really didn't do anything for us. If WVU loses, it's going to claim that Marshall's going to claim that as its Super Bowl, and that doesn't do anything for the Mountaineers, and that hurts the Mountaineers losing to a Sun Belt team. I say just play the game. You don't have to do it every year. Maybe you do a one-for-one, okay? Do a one-for-one. Or I like your idea of, okay, if you want to do a two-for-one, let's do the two-for-one. And there's a huge buyout attached to that game. And if you buy that game out, this is what it's going to cost you. I don't know if that could happen. I like the idea, though. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I don't mind it being an occasional game. You don't have to play that every year because, let's be honest, I don't know how many Herd fans want to travel to Morgantown when there are different opportunities out there. I look at it from that point of view. Hey, you got to play a game in state. Well, if you're going to play a road game, let's go somewhere. Go to Georgia. Go to Tennessee. Go somewhere else. Go somewhere that's different. That's my thought process on that. I'm not trying to say anything about going to Morgantown, but what's more exciting, going to Morgantown or going to Athens, Georgia? Morgantown, Athens, Georgia. It's a bigger venue. It's a greater adventure. Maybe it's more of a destination. You remember the former athletic director was huge on, again, destinations. That was his word, not mine. Destinations. And then we got Middle Tennessee State on the schedule. So I'm hoping scheduling philosophy will be one that we can get into with the new athletic director. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the text line, 304-396-TALK. Texter says, Paul, amen on making the documentary required viewing. As someone who lived through it, it was more impacting on me than the movie. I appreciate the text. Thank you. And I don't mean this to sound terrible, but I have a DVD copy of We Are Marshall that I've never watched. I've seen the movie. When Huntington was going Hollywood and had the big premiere over at Keith Albee and all the glitz and everything, I was over at Pullman Square. Now, I was working for a different radio company at that time, but I was over at Pullman Square. So I was sitting with a lot of other people who, weren't spending the big money to be at the movie premiere. It was just like, I'm not trying to say, the common people. I'm saying the people that didn't spend the big dollars to be at the movie premiere for the movie premiere's sake. Instead, it was you and me. We went to see that movie, and I was grateful that the movie got made and the exposure that it means for Marshall University. But Ashes to Glory meant more to me because it told me the story. It taught me the story of the Marshall tragedy. I mean, the ESPN special that came out years ago as well, that taught me the story. Those were more meaningful to me, not to dismiss the movie, and I'm not going to. It has its place, and I'm glad that it got made. But at the end of the day, I think the documentary has more meaning for me and for others that not only lived it, as the texture just said, but also it's a great way to kind of experience what this story is all about from different perspectives. It doesn't have that Hollywood polish, and that's fine. Let's see, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's our text line. Couple of texts. I can't read those out loud. Nothing bad. It's just okay. I'll tell you what, we got to hit the break anyway, so let's go ahead and do that. We'll get more of your texts coming up. Remember, I proofread these texts really quickly as I get them, so bear with me as we continue on with this edition of The Drive. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
It's the Hot Deals Cool Ride Sales Event at your hometown Chevrolet in Waverly. Right now, save big on a fresh lineup of Chevys, from fuel-saving sedans to dependable trucks and family-ready SUVs, as well as an exceptional selection of pre-owned vehicles. Looking to trade in? We're paying more than ever for quality vehicles. Need financing? We've got options that work for you. Don't miss it. Hot Deals Cool Rides happening now at your hometown Chevrolet, off Route 23 in Waverly, or at yourhometownchevy.com.
Get everything for your next project at Menards. Tackle tough jobs with Loctite Power Grab Adhesive. This all-purpose construction adhesive is easy to use and bonds to a variety of materials. Plus, it's high strength, paintable, and reduces the need for clamping with 0-second instant grab. Save big money on Loctite Power Grab at Menards, and check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. Sip in the summer with $3 margaritas at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Fresh lime margaritas at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Handcrafted to bring the taste of summer straight to your table. Upgrade to mango, blackberry, spicy, or dessert pair for just $1 more. You can enjoy a round or two without breaking the bank. Pair it with the cafe's Baja Chicken Street Tacos and make every moment a fiesta at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe today on the corner of Fun and 3rd Avenue, downtown Huntington.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Classic Liquors, your adult beverage headquarters in Huntington, Canova. Classic Liquors, simply the best. Smokin' Jay's Rib and Brew House, the Tri-State's best barbecue and ribeye. U.S. Route 60, Ashland, Kentucky. Smokin' Jay's, come fire it up. And Arrowhead Land Company's Team Wit. Call 937-545-7764. Online at arrowheadlandcompany.com.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Save big money on your outdoor project at Menards. Our free, easy-to-use design program helps bring your landscaping dreams to life. Plus, Menards has the largest in-stock selection of concrete landscape block at the best prices. Visit us in-store or on Menards.com to see our full selection of landscape blocks and get started on your outdoor living space today.
Here's another Kindred Communications Community Chatter. Thunder on the River's coming August 20th through the 24th in Ironton. There'll be vendors, live music, and much more. It's sponsored by Red Hawk Magazine and Nighttime Rides. For information, go to thunderontheriver.net. Proceeds benefit Towers to Tunnels and Folds of Honor.
Kindred Communications Community Chatter brought to you by Classic Liquors, your adult beverage headquarters in Huntington and Canova. Get it all through their drive-thru. Classic Liquors, simply the best.
It may be goodbye summer in Huntington, but it's hello deals here at University Ford. Broncos up to $8,000 off or finance at 0%. Escapes up to $6,000 off or just $292 a month. Explorers now up to $5,500 off. Plus 0% financing and up to 125% of KBB for your trade. New ownership, improved process, better deals. Better deals. Visit us at University Ford in Huntington or online at universityfordwv.com. See deal for complete details on all offers.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Cool. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
Sup?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The Forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, this is Dave Wilson, host of Metro News Talkline, and you're listening to The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Wrapping up today's edition of The Drive. Plenty of time for your text, 304-396-TALK, brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop. Texter wants to know, is the coach's show coming back going to be at Davis's place? I believe so. It's going to be on Tuesdays this year, by the way. So Tuesday night, Davis's place. That's going to be the place to be for the Coach Tony Gibson show. And we'll have that right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930, also on 93.7 The Dog. So looking forward to that as we get closer to the start of football season. I think we're starting the week of game week. That's going to be our first show, if I've got the schedule correctly. And so, yeah, that's going to be fun. Hear the first coach's show. And, of course, yeah, that means, again, we're getting closer to the start of just having football for, I don't know if you count the pros. We're talking, January, February, get into some of that. Definitely December with the college side of things. We really didn't even get into the Michigan stuff today. I didn't have time for that, and that's okay, because really what it amounts to is a financial slap on the wrist for Michigan and the signal stealing scandal. There's some, hey, you can't coach in college football for X amount of years. That's okay. Most of the people that are involved already are out and doing other things. And that's going to do it. Thanks for everyone tuning in. I'll be back with you next week here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Until then, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Broadcasting from the Dave & Buster's studios. Eat, drink, play, and watch at Dave & Buster's in the Huntington Mall. ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. WRBC, W231BS Huntington.